Hey there, my name is David McCraney. I wrote a book called How Minds Change, which is about the science behind belief, attitudes, values, persuasion, social change, and a whole lot more. It's a book that explores what happens in a brain when it goes from thinking in one way to thinking in another, seeing the world in one way and seeing it in another, interpreting it in one way and interpreting it in another. And the idea behind the book came from trying to understand how very fast social changes take place when the majority of the public can believe one thing in one decade and then believe something completely the opposite in another, or vast attitudes can go from positive to negative or the other way over the course of just a few years. But to understand it, I wanted to get down to the individual level. And I went on a long journey, and you go along with me on that journey in the book as I spend time with cults and Westboro Baptist Church, anti vaxxers, 9/11 truthers, flat earthers, and so on, to try to understand how people form those sort of beliefs. And then I spend time with people who left those communities to try to understand what it is that had them decide this is the time for me to give up these beliefs and attitudes and values for others. Then I talk to scientists who explain the science behind what happens in one brain when it changes its mind in that way, and then how that scales up to widespread social change, whether that's in an institution or an entire culture, an entire country. So the book took a while to write because as I was writing it, all sorts of things happened out there in the world: Brexit and Trump and civil unrest and COVID, all of which are explained through the lens of all this. Plus, we go deep into conspiratorial thinking and how to pull someone out of a conspiratorial community through simple persuasion. And perhaps the greatest thing that you'll learn in this book is the science of persuasion, which is something that took me a long time to wrap my head around. But I was given this gift of, I found these several different communities who actually what they do on a day to day basis is try to change people's minds. But these communities didn't know of each other. They were in different places around the planet, and some of them didn't even know the science behind what they were doing, but they were all doing the exact same thing. And what you'll see is that the reason they all do the exact same thing is because if you want to build an airplane, you have to use that. You have to build an airplane that uses the physics of the universe and of Earth to get off the ground and go somewhere. So if it's invented, no matter where it's invented, it's going to look the same. And so a persuasion technique that actually works is going to work the same no matter who creates it, because brains work the same no matter who is being persuaded or who is resisting that persuasion. So, How Minds Change is a deep exploration of all of these ideas. And in it, you will learn about three different things: how brains form their models of reality, how we come to believe anything, what a belief, value, and attitude actually are, and how they're separate. Then, how that changes through experiences and persuasion, through novel information, through disambiguation, as they say, and then how all that scales up to social change. And most importantly, you will learn how to encourage all of this through guided metacognition. All of that in a book called How Minds Change. And I can't wait for you to read. I cannot wait for the world to get a hold of this thing. And I can't wait to tell everybody about it endlessly. I could go on and on, but I'm trying to keep this short. So please check it out. How Minds Change.